My number one approach to generating ideas for the task two. Actually, I use pretty much the same thing in the speaking, and I have been doing this like this way for a long time that it has become so like automatic and fast in my head. So as soon as I hear the question, I visualize, I understand, and personalize, and then generate ideas based on my personal experiences or views or feelings. So like, what do I think? How do I feel? And I'm gonna pretend that those ideas are true for other people, okay? Pretty much, really, that's it. So, example. So when I see a question, what I'm gonna do is, as soon as I read the question, I visualize, like bringing some vivid, specific pictures and images, because if I can think of it, if I can imagine it, I'm going to be quick enough to generate ideas. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. And then I read the question, I simplify for myself, and then personally link it, with myself, like to myself. If I connect on a personal level with the question, then it's going to be even more relevant to me and easier to generate ideas, right? Like, here's the thing, as human creatures, we're really biased. So if something is directly related to us, then we're gonna care, we're gonna pay attention, we're gonna be more active. If something it has nothing to do with us, then it's like, whatever, I don't care. So that's why I believe making it relevant to yourself is important. Like, find it valuable to you, personalize it. So I'm looking at the question, for example, about house designs. So there's that argument. House design should be similar to however other people build. Or do you think that people should have the freedom to build the houses the way they want? Discuss both views and explain what you think. Yeah, like in a nutshell, that's what the question is. So as I read the question, I'm visualizing the houses that I've seen, or the house that I like houses that I've lived in, or the houses that I built recently. So yeah, like you see, I'm making this personal connection. If you don't have personal experience with the topic yourself, then just think about the movies you've seen, the news that you've read, or friends that you probably know have experienced or had some connection to, okay? And so that's it, I have an idea. And this is how I personalize, make it relevant to me, internalize it, and just based on my own ideas and views, I generate arguments on both sides. I try always to look at both sides. So, okay, why people should build houses in the same style, like in the local area. Okay, I can see why that might be a good idea. Again, here another important thing is I repeat the keywords, or I make the position really, really clear instead of just saying, yeah, first point, here's what's good. It is. I don't just use referencing like that, or I don't shorten the ideas in my head while I'm planning, because it's very important. It helps you to generate ideas. Or when I'm looking at the other side is people should have their freedom to style their homes however they want. Now, why they should have the freedom to build their houses and style it however they want? You see, I keep repeating those main ideas. And then these ideas are they will guide me to generate relevant arguments. Okay, so why people should build houses according to the local standards and styles. Well, that could be good actually, because then otherwise house would look kind of a little different and stand out. And as humans, we want to kind of belong, we want to seem like part of society. So maybe that's why partly we dress in the same way like other people. We want to belong, we don't want to stand out. So the houses people build, maybe for that reason, should be similar. So for cultural reasons and to feel like they belong, they are part of that community. Okay, all right. Imagine a Japanese, for example, building a house in your neighborhood, right? And your neighborhood is, say, I don't know, any other different culture and religion or whatever, nationality, right? Like that person wants to probably build that Japanese kind of style house because they want to say that they're Japanese. They don't belong to that. I mean, they're not part of that community or society. Okay, so in what way that could be good, in what way that could be not so great, So it could be good because they're expressing who they truly are, and it is their heritage, it's their culture, or it's their personal preference, Then it makes that place special and unique for them. They're gonna really love it and enjoy. Like I have built the house myself that I wanted to build. Like I built them the way I wanted. So that's why now those houses are special to me. I want to live there. Every time I go there, I am constantly reminded of my ideas, my visions, and I'm excited. I love that. You know, compared to other homes, for example, that are built in the traditional or typical or in a boring kind of way. So those don't stand out to me. They don't attract my attention. So you see what I'm talking about? Like how this should be good. But at the same time, back to why people should build in the same style. Maybe the argument is, other than the culture and belonging, what about safety? What if the houses, the style, is the result of certain factors that are beyond people's control, like geographic location can sometimes determine the way your house should be. I mean, if you think about in territories like deserts, or in some cultures where people live in yurts, you know, that could be simply a result of lack of resources, or the resources they have are different. So they're used to building based on their style or the resources that are available to them. So maybe that's kind of a more like a necessity, and that's actually better, because maybe other materials like building materials would not really work in those locations, you know. And if somebody was inspired by different and foreign styles, but it wouldn't really fit, it would not be safe, or it would not be good for nature, for environment, or it'd be really difficult and expensive, etc. So, you know, like we're thinking about these ideas. Okay, so now put it together. Overall, why people should build in the same style? One argument, to seem like belong, to have that culture unity. Another argument is those external factors like safety, you know, safety standards. Like for example, what if I want to build a house that is, I don't know, like half a floor or underground, or I don't know, house that has, oh, I'm really struggling to come up with weird ideas. Or it just may not be safe, you know? I'm thinking about like countries like, again, Japan, where the country is on an island. So the buildings have to be built according to those factors. So the houses are sustainable, they're safe for people. But what if they wanted to try some new different style that would not fit the safety standards? Then obviously it would be better and smarter to actually build those houses according to the local standards, needs, and demands. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, having your own style can actually make the place really special and unique too. Because after all, it's your place, it's your investment. You're gonna be living there, so why would you care about how other people feel about your house? You know, I'm sure I have seen houses that really stood out in amazing ways. Like I remember, I've seen, for example, a castle, you know, in the middle of like whatever. And that castle was clearly a new construction, and it was absolutely gorgeous, huge, and it stood out. It was like, oh, nice, because, well, I kind of like castles too, you know, they look nice. But then I've seen some houses that looked oddly out of shape, out of place entirely, just looked some weird geometrical shapes in their houses. They seemed like a little bit weird. I don't know. Maybe it was just my personal experience. So what I'm trying to say with this is that maybe people should have the right to be creative, but maybe with certain limitations, if that makes any sense. I mean, it should be safe. And yeah, now that I think about it, like I feel like limiting creativity sounds a bit weird, honestly. Like, so what if somebody has a triangle shape for their home? Like, it's unique, it's different, it's beautiful. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna change. Like, I'm kind of realizing that actually having whatever shape and weird look or whatever is not such a bad idea. It might just like bring something unique to the culture or to that community, like saying that, oh, the community is kind of open-minded and they're welcoming. And I think even for like new visitors, it might sound really nice and interesting. Besides, it's a home, it's a private space, you know? So there, okay. What would be my final or my own opinion on the topic? And I would say probably give people some freedom, because I don't want somebody telling me that I can't build like that and I should build it according to these standards. I probably wouldn't want that. No, I'm not gonna be happy about that. So I'm gonna pretend as if that is true for other people as well. So I'm going to say, yeah, people should be given some freedom to decide to build houses in the style they choose, they want, but maybe with certain standards in mind, you know, to make sure that the building is sustainable and safe. As long as the crazy new idea, whatever it is, that style that the person has for their home is safe and sustainable, then I got no problems. I think that's totally fine. There, I have my idea. So as I am developing ideas, you see, I am really personalizing it as if I'm having a discussion with myself, you know? I just look at both sides, I ask myself a bunch of questions as I think, as I visualize, as I'm trying to create coherent, most logical points. Next point is obviously not to just leave those ideas in our heads, because, well, once we start writing, we might forget, it all might kind of be messed up. So what you want to do is write those down on a piece of paper, so that while you're writing the essay, you'll have your plan right next to you. You can just have a quick look and then know where you are and what you need to say next, which could also take off the pressure, unnecessary pressure. And when you think like that, you see, you're really focusing on ideas. You're not focusing on vocabulary. You're not interested in impressing the examiner. When I was thinking of ideas, I just really focused on how I felt and what I thought, what I've seen and what I've experienced. Not like, oh, which idea would impress the examiner, and not like that, you know. I wasn't thinking about anything. I just wanted to communicate ideas. I really understood the question. I tried to understand why this, why that, and I thought about how to best communicate all of that. Because as a writer, it's my job to come up with relevant ideas and to explain them well. Because if I don't explain them well, no matter how great or relevant those ideas are, it's going to be my problem, because examiners will not maybe understand. But I want the examiner to understand my ideas. Okay, I just want them to be like, oh, right, that's why some people say that, or that's why you say that. Okay, I see, you know what I'm saying? So my priority is clear communication, relevant ideas, and the appropriate language that I feel comfortable with, that I know, like really know, that is appropriate for that topic, for that task, under exam conditions. If you do that, I'm sure you'll start thinking better or writing better. And speaking of time, just remembered one more thing I wanted to add here, is that you see, this kind of planning and thinking right now might seem like it's taking a lot of time, but because I would do it all in my head and our thought process is so much faster, I would actually spend 2 to 4 minutes. 2 to 4 minutes on idea generation, planning like that on a written form, under exam conditions. But to be able to do that now, I worked a lot actually on generating ideas. I did not specifically work on time management or anything like that. I just first of all learned how to do this planning thinking, which at the beginning used to take me 10 to 12 minutes. But it was a little too much, obviously, because I had a lot to say and I wanted to explain these things and I needed more time. So I realized that I needed to speed up. You see, here's another very important thing. So when people are writing the essay and when they don't finish the essay on time, they are thinking about like factors like, or strategy, like how do I speed up my writing? What I did was I realized what was taking me more, or what was taking me much time. It was planning, for example, or that I was writing a lot. Either I had to sacrifice the writing or my planning. And I realized I'm gonna reduce my time on my planning. If right now I'm spending 10 to 12 minutes, how can I reduce that to like less time, like 7 minutes or something? I worked harder. I planned on lots of different topics, try to do it faster and faster. This way, actually, I started activating what I knew, what I experienced, you know, because for most people, I'm sure they have enough experiences in life. I mean, enough, okay? And IELTS luckily does not require you to have any expert knowledge. So what you probably know could be enough, but whatever you know is kind of dormant, you know? It's there because maybe you don't reflect on experiences, or you don't usually think about stuff like that. And that's why whatever you see, you read about, you hear about, or experience yourself personally about, just becomes just another forgotten experience. But it's all there, probably, if you just activate. So that's why I visualize. You see, I think about what I've seen, what I've read. And then I reflect a lot on things that I read about. I don't just like watch a movie. I watch a movie and I think about it. Like, what did I really learn? How do I feel about it? What would I have done myself if I were in the shoes of this? How does it really affect me? What are the implications of that? You see, like when I read a book or article, I'm constantly thinking, reflecting. I don't just passively observe things. I don't just like passively read. I don't want to. I try to reflect on whatever I do. And this is how I actually build up my knowledge, maybe, or experiences overall. Maybe that's what in the long run helps me to have more things to say and to think about. Well, I don't know. That's what I do. So anyways, yeah, it took me like long time like that, like 10 to 12 minutes. But because I tried it over and over again on lots of different topics, that I remember the first time I spent actually 7 minutes on that good plan. That was sufficient, that was great to write a really nice essay. And after I realized that I could actually spend 7 minutes on my planning, I thought to myself, hey, what if I could spend even less than that, you know? Like, what do I need to do? I learned how I need to streamline my thinking process, visualize faster, and ask myself a bunch of questions like what, why, how do you feel? Why do you feel this way? What about other people? Would they agree with you? Would they disagree with you? Or you have, like, what are the problems and what are the solutions? Problems based on what you have seen. What do you think? Why that was a problem? Like, exactly when you saw that as a problem, then what was the solution to it? Why that solution would work? How that worked? Do you know actually a place that it really tried it? If that worked, why it worked? If it didn't, why it didn't? So I would ask myself a bunch of questions like that, and this is how I, even from 7 minutes, I got down to 2 to 4 minutes. Okay, so here is another myth about time management. If you hear me saying all of this and how much time I spent on planning, what you're probably hearing is like, ooh, she spends 2 to 4 minutes, and how she does that, what is your strategy? It's not about strategy, okay? It's about knowing what to do, how to do, especially when it's a new skill, and put it into practice. Like, practice the right ways. Don't practice to speed up or to think to do it faster, because when you do that, you might actually go off topic, you might not think things fully and clearly, and that's how task response in writing still may not be that great, or quotient coherence may not be that great, okay? So that's why focus on just learning the skill, honing that skill, mastering that skill. Do it over and over again. Then you're gonna learn how to become a lot faster naturally and gradually, okay? You wouldn't have to work on anything else like special to do that, okay? And this is how I managed to come up with ideas and write the essay under exam conditions. I don't struggle generally with the writing, and I really enjoy the process, okay? Personalize, internalize, rely on your personal experiences, and visualize. And most importantly, while writing and while thinking, communicate, you know, like ask yourself, like, do I really understand what the question's asking? How can I explain myself in the best way possible to the examiner? If you do that, that's it, bingo. You're gonna be doing so much better than if you focused on the vocabulary or just some impressive ideas and time, speed, word count, you know? Okay? So give it a try and let me know how that works out for you and how much you actually love it and how it really improves your skills overall.